Disney has decided that they need to put a complete and total shutdown on live action remakes of princess movies until they can figure out what the hell is going on. After Snow White's box office failure, they have allegedly halted all production on the live action remake of Tangled, their version of the Rapunzel fairy tale. And this was highly anticipated. There were casting debates coming up online every few months. And every single time the live action Tangled debate arose again, it was about race swaps. People were saying that the lead actresses in consideration for Rapunzel were South Asian Indian actresses. I don't remember the girl's name, but she played
Avantika.
What was it?
I don't.
Is that just what she goes by?
I think that's just her stage name.
Yeah, her stage name.
I just remember she was the only good part of the Mean Girls musical.
Yeah. Basically, all these people were saying it's a non-negotiable. Rapunzel cannot be a white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired girl. It has to be a South Asian Indian actress with long black hair instead. And even if she gets to be blonde, you have to make it a wig because, you know, we just need to see an Indian Rapunzel. That was the same debate every single time. I honestly, there was no obvious reason. It's just that
that's where the discourse went?
That naturally was where the discourse went. And of course, they never say that princess's love interest should be a minority as well, do they? They always think that it should be the princess who gets race swapped, as happened with Rachel Zegler as Snow White. She is Hispanic, but they keep her love interest white. Same thing with Halle Bailey as Ariel in The Little Mermaid. Her prince stays white. That goes for all of these. They wanted Flynn Rider in the Tangled live action to remain a white man.
What if they were like, fine,
and I just think it's kind of telling.
What if they were like, fine, but we're going to de-age Zachary Levi?
Yeah, well, people were saying, like, can Mandy Moore and Zachary Levi really pull off the whole, like, teenager look? Probably not. But yeah, they say in this new piece from The Hollywood Reporter, Disney's live-action reimagining of Tangled, focused on the Brothers Grimm fairy tale heroine, has been put on pause, according to studio insiders. It had been in active development with Michael Gracie of The Greatest Showman on board to direct, and a script by Jennifer Caton Robinson, known for Thor: Love and Thunder, they say. The pause occurs in the wake of an underwhelming release of Disney's live-action Snow White, which has now made $69 million domestically, $145 million worldwide on a budget of $270 million.
It's more than that, ladies and
More
gentlemen.
than that, actually.
Flynn Rider looks like he would be in a ska band in the 90s. He does. The little...
He's one of the most sought after, lusted after Disney princes, actually.
He's got a very long face.
Among millennial women, at least. And this came out back in 2010. And even by then, I was like, as a 9-10-year-old, I was like, damn, Disney's really running out of ideas. You know, back when they released, I was just thinking about this too. I loved Monsters, Inc. When they released Monsters University in 2010, I also thought, like, okay, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Doesn't have to just be Disney. I mean, what around like the 5th Minions movie?
That's DreamWorks.
I said
right?
Not Disney, but I'm saying, but like a lot of times these franchises
even still they
get carried
Kung Fu
on.
Panda,
which just had its 4th
movie.
movie.
Yeah, that's also been milked for all it's worth. And you know, here's the thing: Disney is just making the same mistake that Mattel made after the success of Barbie, but in regards to the failure of Snow White. They're going to think, oh, Snow White failed because either Palestine or the fact that it's a live-action remake of a princess movie. They're not going to pin it on any of the real explanations. It's a cop-out. Just as Mattel told themselves the success of the Barbie movie could be owed to the fact that it's about a toy.
Yeah.
They are idiots.
They are.
It's just like the success of the Twilight franchise for some reason told Hollywood, oh, vampires. It has nothing to do with the themes of the story that appealed to young women. No, it has to be the surface level aspect of the vampire or the doll or the princess, whatever
the love triangle in a fantasy thing was a staple of that time period.
Make it, yeah. So make a love triangle movie. It's just they think that the blood sucking aspect of it was like the appeal for those women. It wasn't really the main attraction. But you'd have to have a couple of brain cells to rub together to figure that one out. And Brittany Hugeboom, who runs Evie Magazine, had a really good take on this. She said, does Disney realize that if they cast actors who actually resembled Rapunzel and Flynn Rider from the animated film, a live-action adaptation could easily cross $1 billion? Hollywood is interesting like that. For years, video game movies were considered cursed, and studios avoided them like the plague. Then Detective Pikachu and Sonic came out to break the curse. Suddenly, everyone realized there's a massive audience for Super Mario, The Witcher, The Last of Us, etc. because they're actually well done and mostly stayed true to the source material. Same thing happened with Twilight. One success and suddenly they think the audience wants vampires. Vampires were everywhere. They didn't understand the obvious appeal Twilight had to girls that wasn't due exclusively to vampires. And now after the Snow White flop, studios are acting like all live-action princess movies are doomed, but the issue wasn't the genre, it was the execution. Snow White flopped because it veered wildly from the original story. The princess wouldn't fall in love and instead became a cringy girl boss. Rachel Zegler was wildly unlikable during the press tour, and they replaced the iconic dwarves with bizarre CGI mess. It was disrespectful to what made the original beloved. Rapunzel is 17 in the animated film. Don't cast Florence Pugh, who is almost 30. Cast a beautiful, sweet, unknown triple threat. Someone between the ages of 17 and 22. There are plenty of insanely talented young women in Los Angeles, or you could do a nationwide talent search who could bring her to life. You don't need a big name when the story is already that strong.
They took that advice for Snow White.
For Rachel Zegler?
I mean, did she mention race there? Did Brittany mention race there?
Yes.
Okay.
She's saying if they cast actors who actually
Look the part,
resemble...
yeah. But the point is, Disney tried to do that. They just couldn't help themselves from race swapping. At that time, Rachel Zegler wasn't known.
Well, she did get the stamp of approval from Disney beforehand because West Side Story was also a Disney.
But she wasn't well known, is all I'm saying. It's
she
like
wasn't.
Disney is going to ignore the race swap part and say, we did do that. We just, why didn't it work?
But that's not, like, the only important part. It's like they just can't help themselves.
Nope, they can't.
It's funny. Someone commented here and pointed out, I guess I wouldn't have even known this, but Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, and Miley Cyrus, all out of Texas, were found by Disney through nationwide casting calls. They were absolutely unknown beforehand. Of course, they were much younger. They were like mostly 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old.
Wait, Miley Cyrus was?
Miley was...
Even with a famous father?
Miley was, I think, 11 when she got cast.
I guarantee you they had connections 12? To the industry before
they
that
for sure
happened.
did, yes. But, like, they were relatively unknown actresses. And, you know, it's just, like, so simple. And if they listened to a normal person consult them on how to do this, it would be off to the races. That pun not intended.
Yes.
But they cannot help themselves. Like, they're so self-indulgent and just craven and evil and proud.
Well, it doesn't make any sense either because they have other characters that they could use. I brought up, I've never seen it. I just know that Elena of Avalor is a thing, is a animated princess for Disney that they could make live action if they wanted to, and they don't.
Well, she just doesn't have enough clout compared to Rapunzel. So.
I can't help but laugh because it's one of the only industries where they consistently make it harder for themselves than it needs to be. It's like when we were talking about the changes that they made to Snow White, like other than ideological reasons, why make so many changes at all? Why not follow it more closely? But I have no idea.
I mean, even Tangled, it's called Tangled because it's a reimagined version of Rapunzel. It's not the fairy tale that is from Brothers Grimm.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, at least stay faithful to the one you created. That's the thing about Disney's live action Snow White. They don't even want to take credit for the version of Snow White that they literally made up in the first place. That wasn't the original fairy tale.
And make no mistake, these failures for Snow White will have large repercussions for them for a long time. Though, oddly enough, I don't think that anybody's going to suffer career-wise. I think Rachel Zegler will continue to work on mid-budget movies, and she'll go to Broadway. And then eventually what happens is she ends up being somebody worth bringing back because there will be buzz around her in the future.
We have a 20 from Henry Oria. Hey guys, Mary, great to see you back. Speaking of Disney, do you guys think there will someday be a sequel or even a remake of the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Thank you.
No, I don't think so.
You were just bringing that up.
I was making a joke about...
You were making a joke about a remake of Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
I said somebody looks like they would have been cast in a remake of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I don't even remember who it was.
Blake Lively?
Maybe. No, I don't think so. And if they did, I don't think it would be a movie. I think they'd make it for streaming. If it wasn't made in 2020 during COVID for Disney Plus, then I don't know if it's getting made.
Well, they just put out that Looney Tunes movie that nobody watched.
And they sold the rights to
Coyote versus Acme.
They're also Catch Up Productions
doing a Flintstones one and a third one I forget. Jetsons?
There's a market for those like adjacent to A-list properties. They're A-list, but they're A-list adjacent, and there's a market for all of those. I believe.
Was it Willem Dafoe or someone else, or which actor said that he acts like he's Bugs Bunny without telling anyone?
I don't know.
Was it Willem Dafoe or was
I don't know. That's amazing. See, the only reason I don't want Coyote versus Acme to come out is because the worst art nerd wants it to come out, and therefore I just don't want them to get what they want because they hate David Zaslav, and I love that David Zaslav makes them angry. It's the pettiest. It's my pettiest quality is watching people get angry at David Zaslav because of what he's done to try and like pare down the debt over at Warner Brothers.
As for the lessons learned from Rachel Zegler and Snow White bombing, there are none. There actually are none. They're not. They're not. It's so funny. They're just gonna like say that it's because she's pro-Palestine, which has nothing to do with anything.
Nope.
And they're also going to say, like, oh, I guess people just aren't interested in live-action princess movies anymore.
And if you're looking, like Mary mentioned video game adaptations earlier, outside of the masterpiece that was the 1995 Mortal Kombat, remember, Twisted Metal Season 2 is coming up, and I'm excited.
Minecraft movie just came out, and it's already doing really well.
Yeah.
Even though allegedly it sucks.
It overperformed in preview screenings. I think it made $10.5 million just in Thursday night previews, making it like the second or third most successful Thursday night preview for a video game movie next to
FNAF maybe?
FNAF and like one other one. But it was probably Super Mario Brothers ahead of both of them, if I had to guess. But, Twisted Metal is coming out. I just listened to the Samoa Joe interview talking about what it was like playing Sweet Tooth. So you guys should go watch that when it comes out. I really enjoyed that first season. And Anthony Mackie did great work in that. Just not when he's Captain America.
Or any other time.
No, okay. I liked him as the Falcon in Marvel. That's why it's so weird that they
who he is in real life.
Objectively change his character. Yeah. So I have no doubt that they will put this back to the drawing board, and then people will get mad if they do end up casting like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed person.
I think that they might have to. They might have no choice. They might have to really just cast a white person this time. It's just funny because they're literally, as Brittany Hugoboom said, there aren't any known actors for it. There are no 17 to 22-year-old blonde white women.
There are.
Who are actually attractive.
Just because
Where are they?
Just because we can't think of their names off the top of my head doesn't mean there's not a 21-year-old actress that could do this. There's absolutely
that means exactly what she said though, that they're unknown.
Okay, no, because we don't know them. It's not our job to know everybody. Somebody
We'd be
does.
more likely to know them than other people. That's for sure.
How old is Lily Rose Depp?
She's too old for the role.
How old is she though?
In her late 20s.
Is she in her late 20s already?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know who would be. I mean, they wouldn't cast her anyways because she's got like a X-rated, R-rated, cringe-rated style now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.